And welcome back here to America's Newsroom. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Bill.
Republican leaders just this week in the House, they say there's not a single Republican vote in favor of a new budget unless there are spending cuts. What are you willing to cut?
Well, we've made it clear that we're willing to cut quite a bit. In fact, the proposal that the president put on the table a few weeks ago has significant cuts in domestic discretionary spending as well as other areas. The point the president and others have made is that, yes, we need to cut to help reduce our deficit, but we also have to look at some of these tax giveaways, and that's why there's been so much talk about these big taxpayer subsidies to the big oil companies. There's absolutely no justification for saying to taxpayers that you need to subsidize these guys when they're making record profits. And so we need a balanced approach.
On that point, how, if you take away the oil subsidies, how's that going to balance the budget?
Well, it doesn't balance it. In order to balance it, you got to do a lot of different things. That's exactly the point. A balanced approach requires some cuts in spending, but it also requires asking others to pitch in a little bit. And there's no reason not to ask the big oil companies to pitch in. Subsidizing them. That's exactly the point, Bill. We need everything to be part of this
Let's say the oil subsidies are gone. Would you also get rid of the subsidies for green energy projects in this country?
Well, I personally believe that the ethanol subsidies are not a good use of taxpayer money. So the answer to that question personally is yes. And there's an area where I think some people agree. Senator Coburn, for example.
Ethanol, okay,
Senator
we got
Coburn
agreement on that. Well, what about solar or wind or everything else that's being cooked up?
Well, no, because I think it's in our energy interests, our long-term national security interests, to overall reduce our reliance on foreign oil for energy independence reasons, for job creation here at home. And so to the extent that we can provide some greater incentives.
That weans us off foreign oil? I mean, I'm just trying to understand the logic. Is that what you're thinking?
To the extent that you say that you want to encourage a greater use of clean energy, which is produced right here at home, 100% produced here at home, yes, then you're diversifying the sources of energy in the United States and reducing that amount that is based on foreign oil. So the answer is yes.
Okay, how far are you away from moving this ball down the field? Because all the indications we're getting right now is that there is a big wall you're about to be met with. Are you close to it?
Well, as with most negotiations, what we're beginning with are those areas of overlap where there are a common interests and well, I can't get into the details, but if you look, for example, at some of the reporting that's come out on this, and you look at both budgets, meaning the president's proposal, the House Republican proposal, House Democratic proposal, we all said we can get rid of some of the wasteful agricultural subsidies. And so those have been things that, both sides of the aisle. What's that?
Which takes you back to ethanol, too.
Well, actually, ethanol would be actually on top of that. What we're talking about right now are the subsidies that are in the traditionally in the ag bill.
Okay,
and those have been subsidies that have been protected by members on both sides of the aisle. So that would be the kind of thing that appears in both budgets. Again, without getting into the details in the room, those things that both budgets say we can tighten the belt.
All right, Chris, we got to run because of breaking news, but I appreciate you coming on. I want to continue this conversation, okay? Because you've got a mountain to climb down there in Washington, and the American people are waiting to figure out what's going on. Chris Van Hollen,
I look forward to it, Bill.
You bet.
Thanks.
Breaking news now with Heather.